In case study 5, there are two twin boys who are 2 years old. They're the hearing children of two deaf parents, also known as CODAs, children of deaf adults. They only use ASL in the home, which both the parents use, and they prefer not to speak. It's a pretty common situation with deaf parents that marry and then have children who wind up being hearing, and those children simply aren't getting the input at home that they need in order to develop their milestones and regular grammar and vocabulary. The boys use ASL, but they may have delays when they start school simply because their English is so delayed. And even at 2, the parents have a lot of options to facilitate the development of the English language in the boys. The deaf parents have to remain advocates and really be proactive to make sure that the boys can remain bicultural because they are hearing and part of the deaf community. So through evaluations from a speech pathologist, educational toys, socialization, and tips for the future, the parents can allow the boys to catch up with their hearing peers but still remain firmly rooted in deaf culture.
The first step in addressing the boys' situation would be an evaluation by a licensed speech pathologist to rule out all of the language disorders. They would likely use the milestone test in reference to speech and language tips for late talkers, where this would compare them with other children their age and would help the speech pathologist develop a plan to help treat their disorder. The speech pathologist would use ASL to see what their vocabulary size is to determine what method they need to use. According to Dr. Gilbert, they would most likely use the milieu communication training method, which is used for CODAs and late talkers, if they were only delayed in English. This addresses the environment issues, them responding to toys, and engaging them in spontaneous communication. They would be rewarded in intrinsic reinforcement to help the boys speak.
Deaf parents of hearing children face many challenges, including getting enough English input in the home. While they may struggle to model English for their boys, the parents can still play a role in fostering development in many different ways. The children's books are available that have stories written in English. They also have manual hand signs of ASL above each letter. And they also come with audio tapes so the children can listen along. The parents are able to encourage the child to make sounds, and while they can't offer corrections, they don't know if it's correct or not, they can still encourage the child to voice while they sign. The process is called shared reading, and according to Kerr and Mason, it incorporates joint picture books and joint reading, which allows them to talk about the story while they're developing their English language. The benefits of shared reading include improvement of vocabulary, grammar, and literacy skills. And other popular products parents may find useful is toys and iPads especially. An example of talking toys would be the Talk Teach Transport, which is a truck. It has a ramp and several cars that are different colors, and it will actually speak to the child and tell them where the cars are in relation to the truck. It teaches them colors and counting, and also tells them when they're incorrect. So that does correct them in a way that the parent doesn't have that pressure on them. An additional popular thing that parents are beginning to invest in for their hearing children is iPads. There are a lot of applications that have that speak back to the child and can correct them or give them letter sounds and make it games, so it's an intrinsic reward.
The third point would be socialization with other deaf and hearing people, such as in church, public places, and with your family. They would get support and guidance and language exposures by going to these places to hear other people talk. The boys would learn spoken communication with the interactions of others. The first place, the parents might want to play a role in church, giving the boys socialization skills, where they would get at least 3 hours of preaching each week, or a better option would be in the nursery, where they will have kids their age and vocal toys that will help them speak, and have a nursery worker in there who will also has social gatherings where talking is encouraged, and they come around and they sit around and talk, allowing the boys to get more interaction with other kids. According to Ray and Looney, taking the boys to public places, they will see other people interact with spoken communication. They will see what is accepted culturally in the hearing world. A high percentage of the spoken language is by listening and communication with others. The boys will have the opportunity to communicate, such as in waiting in line to pay for their goods, or asking a store clerk if they need to find something. Also, family functions will be a good place for the boys to be, because the family will understand how much the boys are delayed, and they will help them with the role of helping them develop language.
Rolling and action.
As the boys grow, they're likely to struggle with their identity as the hearing children of deaf parents. Parents can take many steps to support their children, because their children are going to be bicultural. While the parents may be deaf and completely immersed in the deaf world and deaf community, the children are hearing, and they can be involved in both the hearing world and the deaf world, but they would need sufficient support from their parents to do so. It's very important for the parents to support both sides of their identity, and Singleton and Title give excellent advice for deaf parents regarding how to best support your children as they grow through adolescence and into young adulthood. They suggest that boys would spend time with both hearing children and deaf children, so that they could develop their ASL in addition to developing their English, since their English is being built upon their ASL language. In addition to that, the parents may know a trustworthy hearing adult that they could ask to take the boys under their wing a little bit and introduce them to the hearing world, because it's important for them to understand culturally the differences between them. CODAs often have a heavy burden of interpreting for their parents. This can often be very stressful for them, and the parents need to be sensitive to that. If the child takes pride in that and they enjoy it, then it's okay for the parents to allow that. The parent just needs to be sensitive to either direction that the child chooses. The parent must be willing to adapt, to spend more time in the hearing world. This is going to happen with school, depending on where they're placed, sporting events, things of that nature, or other hearing parents. So it's also important for the parents to get involved in the internet technology, be able to set up their own interpreters for events, graduations, things of that nature. And that's going to make the boys feel more confident that their parents don't rely on them to help them through the hearing world. And this is going to ensure that the boys can remain firmly rooted in the deaf community as well as the hearing community.
In conclusion, children of deaf parents face many obstacles in the development of the English language. By utilizing available tools, parents can help their children in the parents' chosen communication method as well as English. Through involving a speech pathologist for evaluation and a treatment plan, the boys can make up for the lack of input at home. Secondly, by presenting the boys with toys that stimulate language and are their own reward, children can get language input at home. Also, ideal socialization is easily accessible in many places, which increases language exposures and support for the parents. Lastly, incorporating tips for the future, parents can support the boys' bicultural development. This will ensure the boys that they will grow up to be developed English speakers and be a proud member of the deaf community.